Hello everybody and welcome to my new video. This will be the build for Barbarian Hardcore that I use in Season 2. Now first things first, I will have the planner from Diablo builds in the pinned comment section. It's got all the skills in it. It's got the aspects, the Vampiric powers, the skills there as well, expertise. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit in detail. After I show you some footage, got Paragon. And there is a new feature. It will be actually in the future. It's in preparation testing. It will show you the weight, what's the weight of each stat, if you will, and then also aspects too, but more about it later or in the future. For example, you see Fits of Fate is approximately 50% DPS increase, but because it's a glove stat, or like it's gloves, you will miss plus ranks to the main skill, which is year number 2 double swing. So in this scenario, it might not be as great, but this is the tier 84 Nightmare Dungeon. I didn't go higher because this is somewhat of a fresh character. It took me like 4 to 5 days, something like that, to get him to this point, basically. So we're using no basic skill. We're using Steel Grasp instead of that with Unique, 200x, Ancient's Oath. It is pretty damn good. I'm actually impressed. So we're using Double Swing, we're using 3 Shouts and Iron Skin for the damage reduction, but also the barriers also coming in handy. It also counters dots in this game, which is a really good thing. Running those spider dungeons, for example. But anyways, the reason why I use 4 skills that basically buff us is because I build this around Overpower, and with that I have like 3 ways to guarantee Overpower every, time. Like 12 seconds is Bonebreaker, then the Vampiric power is 20 seconds. But the thing is, other skills that deal damage, like Rupture, Steel Grasp, Groundstone, stuff like that, they do consume Overpower stack. Now you see me run with that Steel Grasp, but it's quite alright to, if sometimes Steel Grasp eats that stack, because we have a 50% multiplier damage from the 200x Ancient's Oath, I will show in a second. And we are stacking a lot on defensives as well, mainly close DR. I like the area or the range for close enemies around you is pretty huge. So since we pull enemies towards us, so it almost like leaves no distant enemies in the back if they're ranged mobs. And I'm using Weapon Master aspects via 3 charges for the Steel Grasp. It also has a lucky hit of getting us a stun on the mobs. So sometimes if that procs, your double swing is free. It actually refunds you more fury than it costs, thanks to resource generation on our rings, for example. But this is just a rough, showcase of what the build can do. Once again, this is hardcore, so we tend to build more defensive than normal. You should definitely aim for that, strive for that, especially in the future, which is like a couple of weeks away. The Abattoir of Zir, the new Nightmare Dungeon, is supposed to be harder than Nightmare 100, for example. So we'll see how that goes. Might have to do some adjustments and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure I can take this build for tier 100. I will do that in the future, because once again, this feels very fresh. I kind of like, I'm also specializing into Twister, which is the Dust Devil. So I'm using the Glyph Twister, I'm using the Dust Devil, I think it's Windlasher on 2-hander, and then it's Devilish on 1-hander. We want to use that one on a necklace, amulet, because the aspect is stronger on amulet by 50%, but we're using the Overpower unique amulet that drops from Duriel. That one is really nice. So every 300 fury spent, we get guaranteed Overpower. So this is the Nightmare 100. This is I'm gonna just show you some of the boss clips as well. So this is the Grigor, the lightning one that drops living steel, required to get no drops. You need living steel to summon him, but he drops Heart of Agony, which you need for Duriel. There's just some solo runs. You always want to do these bosses in a group to get the most materials from it if you want, or I recommend that. This is some Zir action. And then I'm going to show you the amount of the frequency of attacks of procs, the damage numbers on the boss, world boss with this build. I know there are people around there, but as you can see, the amount of attacks we have is quite a lot. We feel like Twisted Blade rogues, not gonna lie. Sometimes it does feel like that. But yeah, this is just a little bit of what this build can do. It doesn't take too long to build as well. I wasn't too lucky on drops, but yeah. First things first, I'm gonna show you the skill tree. So first 2 points, you need to put them somewhere to unlock core skills. I put them Lunging Strike, we don't use that. So maxed out Double Swing, I'm using the Berserking Double Swing upgrade so we can have non-stop Berserking. All this build is about non-stop Berserk, because Berserk is the most important stat for us Barbarians ever since the first Or like, yeah, ever since the start of the season, they changed how Berserking works. It's not additive like before, it's multiplicative, which is more value. We are rocking Rallying Cry and not any of these upgrades because this perk right here hurts us. I'm gonna explain why. So the reason why we have like no basic skill, we are able to get Fury on dodge right here. This is the 90 Fury. Is because Unstoppable. It pairs with this Metamorphosis with the Vampiric power. Every time you dodge or evade, you will get Unstoppable for 4 seconds. With Tibalt's Will, as you can see, when you become Unstoppable, gain 50 of your primary resource, thanks to our resource generation, which is down here. We get even more than that. So that's why I don't run Rallying Cry, because it lasts for 7.4 seconds, and it's basically like within that time frame you can get 2 evades, aka 180 Fury if you will. So this one really messed up my Unstoppable windows, or like DPS windows. Iron Skin for the damage reduction, we have an aspect for it right here, 26%, we can get 28. Also gives you Unstoppable, but it's only for 5 seconds, so this one is quite alright, it's not too bad. We're rocking the 45 here, but you can also get some heal here if you prefer that, but I'll like 45. We have Challenging Shout, you know, the classic here. If you have any CC duration on your items, or even like aspect like Exploiter or Smiting, all the CC duration will affect this shout, meaning the taunt on the target lasts longer, and with the taunt also applies the damage reduction, increased HP, and you know, the fury on damage taken. It won't show in the buff here, in the buff bar. It will show in the in your stats here, both life and damage reduction. That's something I used in free season 1 when Nightmare Dungeons were absolutely cracked. I used that. I used Smiting and Two-Hander, so I have non-stop uptime on Challenging Shout, which means non-stop uptime on the fat damage reduction. That's how I could survive there. I'm afraid with the Avatar of Zir, it might be you know, same story. But if it is, it's okay, because Barb can be pretty damn tanky with that combination. We then go for movement speed to be mobile and move from pack to pack faster. War Cry for Berserking. That's our trigger for Berserk, if not the Steel Grasp. And then we make that Berserk, you know, like refreshed with the Double Swing. All upgrades for Shouts, since we're running triple Shout. This one right here is one of the best defensives Barbarian has. You would normally want to rotate between 3 Shouts, but it kind of, you know, it kind of depends. You don't really need that. We might have to min-max it in Avatar once again. We get DR from while Berserking. I would like to put one more point here. I might do it from Pit Fighter. But I like this note that is because it's both offensive and defensive. Passive. Fear Generation while Berserking. Very good stuff. Important as well. We might not even need this while running Tibalt's, to be honest, but, you know, it's quite alright. Steel Grasp, only 1 point because we're using this 200, which gives us +6 to Steel Grasp. I'm still missing 3 ranks from this bad boy. So it would be at 10 Steel Grasp, meaning lower cooldown, you know, more frequent, better uptime. Vulnerable, Berserking, we go full damage while fortified. Our 45 source is a Vampiric power Sanguine Brace. Pretty good stuff. What I would prefer, if the Nightmare Dungeons are way too hard, I will definitely, like for tier 100, I will definitely have to drop these, because they've only 1 DR, or like 1 defensive, which is close DR. It's okay. But all the other 3 affixes are absolute useless. And about the aspect, I'm not sure what I would put here, but yeah, I would need to put like, you know, triple DR pants or double DR pants with armor and HP. That would be totally ideal. I don't have HP on my chest piece and pants, so we could reach, I mean, like 27,000 even with the potion here, which I use as a consumable, because I'm able to get like 22,000 HP with this potion, and even more so with the Challenging Shout. But yeah, anyways, if I was to go with that route, I would upgrade my Rallying Cry into Fortify here. This is a really good passive. Your Fortify just skyrockets because it's both on damage done and damage taken. So it's really insane, really good. So I would definitely go that route if I was to push like for harder content, or if you're struggling with tankiness, I would definitely put the points there and just get full DR pants. Next up, we got 3 passive points in Pit Fighter. And then on the last segment, we get attack speed with one-handed weapons, which is our double swing. Attack speed is a big factor in this game because there are a lot of sources of attack speed are counting outside of the cap, because normal cap is 100% attack speed. But thanks to those sources that don't count towards that, we can get much higher. This build, I believe I can get like 130%. Because when Raven is here, the 40% of the movement speed, which in my situation right now is 55%. If I was to be unstoppable and proc this passive, sorry, this aspect, but if I have some more movement speed, the attack speed would be much higher. So this one does not count towards attack speed cap, nor Rapture counts towards that, nor one-handed expertise over here. If you kill a CC enemy, you get 15%. So that's some really good stuff. And the last one, we go with Valop because of the damage from one-handed maces. We're using one-handed mace and then a sword because of the expertise to proc both. I'm really a big fan of the attack speed from this one. Also the Fury is not too bad. You know, thanks to our high frequency of attacks, we proc it pretty often. And then the classic Unconstrained. So these were the skill. This was the skill tree. Now going over the Paragon board, I optimized 6 boards. I would say they're pretty well optimized because we managed to go for some very important like rare nodes. So starting off, I would really like to get these points as well for the max HP, but yeah, I wasn't really able to. But we take left side because of the armor. I'm still a big fan of armor, even though it only applies to physical now. First glyph, we go with Ire. I only have 40 strength compared to, you know, most people, but that's why I like figured or like enjoyed myself the most out of this Paragon board. We go with the rare nodes over here. Proceed to the second board, which is our guaranteed Overpower Bonebreaker. Very strong passive if you go for Overpower. And every 12 seconds, we also go for this rare node. Not too bad either. This is my favorite part of any of the Paragon boards. We get so much max life, it's insane. It's 10, 12, 14% max life on top of armor. Really good stuff. Second glyph is Martial, mainly to buff the Overpower damage here. And also the DR while healthy. Healthy is 80% HP, above 80% HP. So you would want to get these outside points, not inside, because of the strength, as it requires strength. Third board is a Blood Rage, current bonus 69. So we go here with the damage while berserking. That's what counts towards this passive. That's why it's really strong. Strongest stat in this game for Barbarians this season, I mean. We go with Dominate, another guaranteed Overpower. I don't really put points in Willpower to make Overpower like, you know, deal more damage. We're already sitting at, I believe, like 2,000, almost 2,000, so that's not too bad. So that was Dominate. Next up, fourth board, we do have Flawless Technique. This is crit chance. I didn't go for it, but we want to get this crit damage. I know I'm missing 2 nodes here, but it is what it is. Fourth glyph is Ambidextrous, once again to buff Close DR, but also crit damage with one-handed weapons. I know they changed crit damage to be, I believe, a multiplicative, or like, you know, it just lost quite some value, but once and if you get the Grandfather, the crit damage gains so much more value, it's really crazy. So we go for this. We go for Cold Resistance and Max HP. This another 6-8%, so that's really crazy good. Cold Resistance helps more, or helps pretty well, because you can get rid of that on one of the items. One of the last boards we have is Carnage. I did not go for attack speed. This also counts to doesn't count towards attack speed cap. But we go with Twister, maxed out 75 strength out of 40. Because this is also damage from berserking. A lot of Barbarians put magic node glyph here, like Ambidextrous or Martial, to buff these damage from berserking. But I just kind of like this. Missing 1 point here, but it's okay. So I want to test Dust Devils, but it's not only buff to Dust Devils damage, but also to yourself. You get 13% multiplicative for 4 seconds. As you can see on the footage, we get so many Dust Devil procs, it's pretty good. And some more damage while berserking. So some good stuff. And last board, we go with Decimator. I know I'm missing 5 points, 2, 4, 6, 6 points. This would be really good because we're both making enemies vulnerable, also overpowering. Our vulnerable source is Prey in the Weak. You basically just dash through a target and it's gonna make it vulnerable. So that's some good stuff. This is our last board, and our last glyph is Wrath. Mainly for the sustain, when you create, you get Fury. It's not free, it's way more, because we get that Fury generation from items, result generation. But also, once again, crit damage buff, not too bad. Not maxed out with Dexterity, but it's okay. So I would also like to get this passive here for max HP. I would also like to get this passive and this legendary node. But it is what it is. We are stuck with this, so not too bad. I didn't take these 2 vulnerable damages because vulnerable lost a lot of value. It's not as great, but I like the DR vulnerable, also not too bad. And this is what it is. Going over the gear right now. So I could use the unique headpiece for Barbarians, the new one drops from Duriel, but I just don't find it that great. I don't find it proccing too often, so these affixes on headpiece are way too important. So damage while berserking, total armor, HP, and CDR. Not max rolls. I could get more armor and berserking, but it's okay. Also, item power plays a huge role, I would say, in hardcore because the armor increase is pretty good. Sadly, it's only an A10. Iron Skin aspect, chest piece, we go disobedience, double DR with armor, and then fourth would be life. Max HP, I don't have that. I have weapon mastery skill damage, which is absolutely useless. Chains don't really do any damage. Our gloves here, we go with double swing, overpower, crit chance, attack speed. Weapon mastery aspect for the double charge, or like extra charge, and lucky hit for stun. Our pants, they both swell, once again, already explained, missing like 20% damage on these, so we could deal much higher damage, but it is what it is. I did 20 derails, I got only one pair. Pretty sad. Boots, a Ghost Walker, we are non-stop unstoppable, which means non-stop movement speed. And with this, we are looking at 162 movement speed, and if I use a Railing Cry, we are almost at a cap of 200%. I went with 3 resistances and movement speed. Maximum with charges is what you're looking for. Almost get my resistances. Like all these are fine except lightning. I would like to get this higher, but if you're struggling with resistances, you can use this potion for 25% resistances. A very strong potion. We are running rubies for max HP. We want to stack max HP as much as possible because Overpower does scale from HP, from life. It says right here. So that's why we have every ruby and max life as possible, even rings. Just not these 2 pieces, so we can have so much HP. Now imagine that with Doombringer and Grandfather. Oh my lord. I would say it's easy over 30,000 HP with the potion. 200 mace, very close to perfect. We want to look for all stats, strength, berserking, and overpower instead of bleeding. I'm running Wind Lasher for the Dust Devil damage. It's pretty nice. Other joinder is our Ancient's Oath for the Steel Grasp, 48% multiplicative increased damage, really good stuff. It got really good affixes, vulnerable, close, berserking, and Steel Grasp. We're missing all stats and strength. We could get so much more stats, but it's quite alright. I'm still able to proc the passes from the last 3, as you can see. 620 willpower, 630 dexterity, so that's perfect. You also need to maximize and look for little things like, for example, where is it? Right here, right? If I would need more dexterity for the last passive, I would need to swap these. So you kind of need to pay attention to detail like this, according to your stat and just itemization. Dual wheel, we go with another Dust Devil, the second one Devilish here on the one-hander. This one is also almost perfect, missing Overpower instead of close, but it's not too bad. Missing strength here as well instead of vulnerable, but I mean it's 925. Accelerating, another aspect or attack speed source that does not count towards attack speed cap. Running rubies for overpower damage. Our jewelry here, we go with Bolt Chieftain, so max HP, crit chance, berserking, resource. Those are the perfect rings you want to go for. I use poison resistance gems because I don't have any poison on my gear. Same story here, just lower numbers, like berserking is the lowest almost, resource could be a bit higher. We go with Unrelenting Fury, that's my single-handedly favorite aspect ever since they changed it in Season 1. So I'm a big fan of this, that's why we are able to run without any basic skill. This is also our generator, combine this with Wrath Glyph, it's really good stuff. Amulet, we go Banished Lord, the unique amulet from the rail, or all skills. All core skills, resource, overpower, crit chance, those are really low rolls, but hopefully you'll be lucky next time. Consumables, I am running max HP. This one is just way too good. Vampiric powers, we're running the Prayer of the Week for vulnerable source. We go with Metamorphosis, so to be non-stop unstoppable with evade. I recommend leveling this for level 2, maybe even level 1, to get procs on tables as much as possible, but I think 2 seconds will not be enough. You won't be able to keep up with your max evade charges or like charges at all, evades. So I recommend level 2. I would stop at level 2, but sadly I slept on that and I put level 3. Sanguine for 45. You also get increased crit chance. So with the gear we have right now, we got 42%. With this Sanguine, we got 50%. I would have much higher if I rolled a higher crit chance on the amulet. And I think gloves, yeah, it's like 4%. So we're still missing quite a lot, actually. We could be like 55%. Next up, we got Blood Boil, Overpower guaranteed every 20 seconds. And then Ravenous for attack speed. Expertise, we're running 200 Sword, and it's only for one reason. I have Bleed ER from, I think, Board, and also this chest piece. 12.5%, I believe by 22%, as you can see. So yeah, that's why we run Bleed. Normally, you do not want to get bleeding, or you don't have to. If you have Fortify instead of that, perfect. And if you're on only Fortify, no bleeding, I recommend putting 200x for more damage. And I believe we just about covered everything. The rotation you want to do is basically just Steel Grasp. What I do on bosses though, right? Well, it depends. Like the Overpower is 18%, 1800% damage. So what I do, I just buff myself up, dodge through, and just 3 times double swing for all 3 Overpowers that I have. I just missed one because I used Steel Grasp. And then I just continue rotation with the Steel Grasp. But yeah, it's up to you. Obviously, this is not a boss, so Unrelenting Fury is not proccing. But yeah, that's basically rotation. You can just Steel Grasp. You see right there, he took my Overpower, so I could have that. That is our attack speed. Could have, and you can see Unrelenting Fury coming in full force. We have a very good generation, a single target. I mean, most of the bosses would be dead right now, but yeah. See right there, like I would need like level 2 Metamorphosis to like line perfectly with our Unstoppable. Or evade, and just spam your life away with some double swings, throwing some Steel Grasp for that multiplicative damage from the Ancient Oath. If you don't have Ancient Oath, you can run Ground Stomp instead of Steel Grasp, or you can just still run Steel Grasp because it procs stun here, which means your double swing will be for free. But once again, the planner will be in the pinned comment. I would like to thank you all for watching. Good luck with the hunt. Let me know how it is. Once again, it's for hardcore. Can be used for softcore as well. You can go harder on the offensive stats and whatnot. Don't have to go so much defensives. But thank you all for watching. Have a good one and see you soon. Hopefully, peace.